guys, welcome back. I'm Kylie and today I'm having salmon with artichoke and half of an avocado, and these are homemade gooey brownies that I made. And I've got a glass of rosé here, and I know this is cringy, but I've got ice cubes in it. So grab your spoons, grab your forks, or grab your chopsticks and let's eat together. I'm so excited because I haven't had salmon in a really long time, and lately I've just been eating lots and lots of noodles, so this is a nice change from what I've been having. So I seasoned the salmon with seasoned salt, onion salt, or I think it was onion powder, a little bit of black pepper, and then once I cooked it, I just drizzled lightly a little tiny bit of Tabasco sauce. Being healthy today. So I haven't been posting every day like I usually do. I feel like this quarantine is finally getting to me, and it's just a lot to take in. I mean, it's already a lot being a parent, and just on top of it, having all of this go on, like not only are you just worried for your own safety, but about your kids more than your own. And I think just not being able to go anywhere and do anything is really just getting to people, or it's getting to me at least. And I know Tennessee is opening up slowly, and I think we're like phase 2, phase 3, but that doesn't always mean that it's completely safe. So I think we're just still minimizing our activities. Today, sorry for using my hands, but they're clean. Today I want to talk about my freshman year of high school compared to my freshman year of college, and how much that can kind of affect you, but how much it can also help you, and how you can make choices to either continue on a path of destruction, or you can make decisions to turn things around and make things better for yourself. I haven't had wine in forever. It's so good. So my freshman year of high school was, I think, pretty uneventful. I mean, you're still trying to just figure out like where your classes are, what high school's all about. So I feel like you're just trying to find your place, and it was difficult because you can't drive yet, and at the time we had off-campus lunch, so I think I had like a few friends, but for the most part I would just eat lunch with my one friend. And I don't know why. I think we were just poking fun at ourselves. We would call it loser lunch. Like, it was just so full everywhere. And our campus was like outdoorsy. It was like California style, so we had to walk outside to like get to different buildings and different classes, and it was always so full. And when I would eat lunch at school, my favorite thing to get was like the loaded potato soup with bacon bits. So that was super good. But then there was nowhere to sit. And there wasn't actually like a lunch room. There were just like different like quads, I guess, or different like areas of each building that served food, and you could just sit wherever. So we would just go outside and sit on the bleachers. And it was just always her and I, so we called it loser lunch. Some people knew like upperclassmen, like it was their sibling or whatever, and then they would go with them in the car to go get lunch or whatever. But by the time I got in high school, my sister had already graduated, and she's like the one that's closest to my age, so I didn't know anyone in high school when I first went, so I was pretty shy too, so I don't know. But after freshman year, and after you start like figuring out what's expected of you and like your clique and all that stuff, like I think it just gets easier. So my freshman year of college was actually pretty traumatic, I think, because I decided to go to school farther away from home than most had decided. I mean, I was like 3 hours away from home. And I would say that like I like adventure, so I don't really know. I knew one other person from my school that was going to the same school, but we weren't even really like good friends. So to me, it was like really exciting to like meet new people and like start fresh and all that. But like I still talked to, some of my friends from back home who either stayed closer to home or went to a different school. And actually, I remember this vividly. After the very first tailgate, freshman year, of course, I was drinking. Everybody drinks when they go tailgate, right? And I remember my friend from back home was calling me a bunch, probably just to say hi and that he missed me. Like we had a group of friends that was like pretty tight knit. And I didn't answer because, I was like making new friends and I was drinking and just, I guess, I hate to say this, but like busy because like I feel like a certain amount of guilt about that night. And so I wake up the next morning to like 100 phone calls, like missed calls from mostly my friends from back home. And I finally get up and call one of them back. And they tell me that one of our friends in our friends group had gotten into a car accident, and it was fatal, so he passed away. And like it was pretty traumatic because I guess that was like really the first time that I had experienced someone close to me pass away unexpectedly. So it kind of hit me harder, and especially because I had gotten missed phone calls from him earlier that night, and I didn't answer, so it just made me feel, I don't know why, but like guilty and sad and devastated all at the same time. So immediately I don't know if you watched my other video. I talked about my ex-boyfriend from high school. His parents somehow were able to arrange like him staying on the same floor and in the same dorm as me. And he was the only one I knew from home that was like within walking distance at that time, because my freshman year I didn't have my car. And so I immediately ran down to his dorm. And we were like friends, or we were trying to be friends. And I just was knocking until somebody answered, and they were all, you know, like hungover and stuff. But then I told him like immediately, like, we need to go home. I need a ride. Like, are you able to drive me, please? Like, our friend or my friend just, we found out that he passed away last night in a car accident, and I need to get home. Thank goodness he had a car and was empathetic enough to agree to take me home. So he drove me all the way back to my hometown. And I show up at home and my parents are like, what are you doing here? And why are you here? Because it was like a week, well, was it a weekday? I think it was. My dad was like, get back to school immediately. Like, I don't even know why you're here. And I told him what happened, and he was just not understanding of it. Like, he's just always really been into stressing how important academics are. So he just didn't understand why I left school, because I mean, what was I gonna do, right? Like, my friend had already passed away. I mean, that was his logic, which is actually really sad, and it like traumatized me that like my parents weren't there for me during a time where I first was experiencing somebody close to me pass away unexpectedly. So that was really hurtful. And I think his memorial service and funeral was a few days later, so I ended up staying like at my friend's house until that happened. And I went to the memorial service and the funeral, and it was just devastating. Like, we were all devastated, and it was hard to swallow, because I was like, why did I decide to go to, like, it kind of put things into perspective. I was like, why did I decide to go to school like so far away, and like the people I love and care about like live here, and I'm so far away from them. Like, I just didn't, I guess I was like, I don't know, I guess grief does something to you where you just don't think logically anymore, and you're just out of your mind, I guess. Like, you're just out. It's so hard to describe unless you've experienced it. So it just, and I guess I've had like, I think the first time that it happens to you unexpectedly, it stings a lot worse than anything else, just because you're just so naive to life before that. So when it does happen for the first time and you don't expect it, it just hits a different way. And it hits hard. So after the funeral, I head back up to school. And at this point, my parents are pissed at me because I skipped class, right? For like 2 or 3 days. I mean, they were paying for my tuition and room and board and stuff, so I understand why they were pissed. But at the same time, like, my friend just passed away, so like, I know now as a parent, like, how to do things differently with my kids. And I get it. Like, my parents are, like, didn't grow up here. They don't know, you know, they just didn't understand. I mean, they had experienced, like, tragedy and loss and all of that. But, like, I guess they just thought that they were paying for my school and stuff, and that was just more important, and they just learned how to cope with, you know, the tragedies that they had been through. So they just probably thought and assumed that I should just know how. But I don't think that there's, like, a certain way you have to act when you're grieving, like, especially when it's unexpected. So it just, I guess there's just no, like, syllabus or, like, book on how to navigate, like, when tragic things happen to you. So I was just acting on impulse, and I think now, even now, no matter what, like, if something tragic were to happen, like, I would just go there immediately to, like, be with my family and friends, and just, it was just a natural reaction, I think. And I think I was looking for support that I didn't get from my parents, and maybe I didn't realize that it hurts me just because I've never talked about it. But I think it would have been nice to get support during a time like that. So now I know in the future, if that were to happen to my kids, that missing a few days of class is not going to make or break you. And that when unexpected things in life happen, that you just got to be there for each other and support each other, and, I don't know, help your kids learn how to navigate certain things that happen in life and how to deal with it, like, before, during, and after. Because, I mean, as the parent, you've already been through all this stuff, so you got to teach how to be emotionally intelligent and how to deal with certain situations to your kids, right? Because, like, who knows? Nobody knows until it happens to you, and then you just got to be that person who walks beside them, not just somebody who's yelling at them, blaming them, guilt tripping them. Like, that was a terrible experience. So I went back to school, and it just was a decline for me, I guess. I just went downhill pretty fast. So, like, I'll admit my freshman year was really bad. I had really bad grades freshman year just because I was dealing with all that, and there was nobody there for me to kind of navigate through, like, grief and a huge major life change, which was, like, leaving home. That was, like, the first time I was away from anything I knew or that I was comfortable with. So it was difficult for me. I was going through all these different types of feelings and emotions, and I was having to deal with it by myself, all alone, with no guidance. So it was difficult. And it really makes me think, like, now that we've gone through a period where kids don't have school to go to, and, like, I read a statistic that maybe, like, 80% of abuse that happens to children are reported by teachers. So now that children aren't going to school because of Corona, you know, all of these situations that would be reported or be noticed are going under the radar just because kids are staying home now and all that stuff. So I guess it was just saying, just as neighbors and members of the community, to be vigilant about what's going on or what you're observing, and just being the voice for people, children, or animals who don't have a voice. So it makes me think about kids who are home right now who may not be getting 3 meals a day and who may be experiencing trauma or things that they can escape from by going to school. So it really brings me back to thinking about my freshman year of college and how I had to overcome that all by myself. And it really made me grow. It would have been nicer to have guidance through all of those feelings and emotions and changes, but I really didn't have a choice, and it was so hard to vocalize like I need help, right? Like it's human nature to have difficulty admitting that. I can admit it now when I need help, and I'm grateful for that, but it's difficult when you're still growing into your skin, you're going through these life changes, and you just want to do well for your parents and everybody else that cares about you. So, after doing really bad my freshman year, I realized like, hey, I need a kick in the butt, and nobody's going to do it except for me. So I need to be my own motivation, and I need to just pick myself back up. Like, this is life. This is real life. This is like adult life, and I need to move on. I need to do well in school. I need to finish within a certain amount of time and not just spend all my time and money just trying to study. I mean, I need to get it going. I need to finish and graduate, and I need to get a good job and make good money and just live a good life, right? So I realized after my freshman year doing so bad that I needed to be my own motivation. I needed to just do what I needed to do to get through school and to graduate. So after my freshman year, I pretty much took summer classes like every year after that, and I think my junior and my senior year, I took 21 credits each semester, which was really difficult because I also worked a part-time job, and I also still went out and had a social life, so it was difficult to balance, but it's good to know now that I was able to do that. I was exhausted and it was tiring, but it's amazing to push yourself to your limits and see what you're capable of. So I'm glad I went through that experience. It's sad to think about it now, and this is like the first time that I'm actually reviewing it and talking about it and going over my emotions and feelings from then. So it's like hard to hear it out loud, and it's like having this like psychological effect on me, but I'm glad because it's almost therapeutic and helps you get through it and kind of build this emotional intelligence, which like everybody needs to do, right? Like you need to learn how to have some type of restraint, and just if you have no emotional control or you don't learn that in life, then you just act on impulse, and that's just never something good to do. But moral of the story is you can go through traumatic things in life, experience difficult things, but you can also still choose to have motivation to do better and to just keep going, because something that doesn't stop is time. So once you get to like a certain realization where you just stop feeling sorry for yourself, you can get through to the next point in life. I guess I'm just trying to say there's light at the end of the tunnel, and same with like this quarantine, like it's not gonna last forever. It's difficult now, yes, it's so hard to experience things on a daily basis that probably you feel like nobody understands, but there is light at the end of the tunnel. I'm gonna eat this brownie. So I think with all the difficult things that I've experienced in my life, and when people ask me, about certain things. Like, I think my thing is like, my motto, or like what I always tell them is like, there's light at the end of the tunnel. Always. No matter how long the tunnel is, you gotta just keep going. Keep going. Keep doing well. Keep your head up. Keep chugging along. And eventually you'll see the little dim and glimmer of light. And eventually you'll be out in full light, out of the tunnel, sooner or later. It's only a matter of time. These are so good. I'm glad that I was able to say it out loud, like there's light at the end of the tunnel. It's so hard to remind yourself, because I've been feeling down the past few days. Probably because of the time of the month, but it's helpful to vocalize and hear that nothing lasts forever and there's light at the end of the tunnel. So I'll end on that note. Done. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for listening to my stories. I hope you found it useful and helpful. And I hope everybody's staying safe and healthy. Give me a big thumbs up if you liked this video. Click that subscribe button for the next video. And until then, see you later.